Hey Josh.
Yeah.
You know what day it is?
It's my birthday!
It's your birthday! So it's my best friend Josh's birthday tomorrow, and I told him that I would bake a cake. So I am right now walking on my way to the full pantry. Hopefully you can still hear me because there are a lot of cars. Basically, I'm gonna take you guys along with me today because I'm trying to do this vegan, gluten-free, and low waste, and we'll see how that goes. I started by finding a recipe online because I did not create this. After I found the recipe, I wrote it all out. I figured out what ingredients I needed. So I wrote a list, which I'll put a picture of it here. I wrote a shopping list, and on that shopping list, I had things I needed to buy and also containers I needed to bring to buy those things in. First stop is the full pantry. Second stop is Woolies to get anything that I couldn't get at the full pantry. And then I'm gonna go home, which is probably where you'll see me next. Hopefully that intro was good. So I'm back in my kitchen. I have some of the things that I bought. I have all the things that I bought for the cake laid out. I did buy more groceries, but I've already put them away, so sorry about it. Here is everything I bought for the cake at the full pantry. So it is olive oil, flax seeds to make a vegan egg substitute, soybeans, which I was considering making my own soy milk, but I'm not so sure. And then gluten-free flour. And then here's everything that I bought from the conventional supermarket. Cocoa powder. This was the only one I could find that didn't say it contained traces of milk, so that's why I got this guy. Then I have coconut milk, vanilla, coconut cream, applesauce, and then dark baking chocolate. This guy right here unfortunately contains palm oil, which makes me not super happy. Plan for today, make the frosting, which means I need to blend up sugar to make powdered sugar because I can't find powdered sugar in like not plastic, but I know I can make it, so I didn't buy it. My roommate has a really good blender, so you just shove it in the blender, blend it up, powdered sugar. And the only other thing I need to use the blender for, which I'm gonna do today because I don't wanna make a lot of noise tomorrow, is the flax. The flax seeds need to be ground into flax meal so that I can use that flax meal to make the egg substitute. Flax meal and powdered sugar both done. It only took like 30 seconds because that NutriBullet is the best thing I've ever used in my life. I need to get one of those. That was a life-changing experience. Okay, I am procrastinating. I need to leave the house in 10 minutes. Bye. Good morning, guys. It is like 7:30 on Saturday morning, and it is Josh's birthday today. But he's asleep, and so is everyone else, which is why I'm being sort of quiet. The oven is preheating right now. I have all of my ingredients laid out behind me. Yay, baking. All right, I'm here now. This is the thing. So, like with lots of baking, the first thing you do is you put the dry ingredients in the bowl. It wants me to sift all of those ingredients together, but I don't have a sieve, and I also don't have a whisk, it turns out. So I'm gonna use a fork, and I'm just gonna like do it until they're mixed. That's where my life's at. So I believe, let's look at the recipe and see what's happening. So it's 1.5 cups of gluten-free flour, 1 cup brown sugar, half cup cocoa powder, 1 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, and a half teaspoon salt. Into the bowl right now. We're gonna do that. That's gonna happen. Let's go. Let's go. now we are going to make our egg replacement, our vegan egg, which obviously is not like an egg you can fry, but it's an egg you can use in baking, and I've never done it before, but that's okay, we're fine, it's fine. One tablespoon flax meal that we made in that NutriBullet that was amazing. I'm still weirdly fangirling over how good that blender is. I just want to make things now. Now I'm gonna take you with me for this because I don't know how this is gonna work either, but I'm very intrigued. So hot water, I have a kettle right here. Doesn't look like milk. So on to the wet ingredients. So it's going to be a cup of milk, which I'm using coconut milk, obviously. The recipe did not call for that. It called for soy, but I've coconut. So 2 teaspoons vanilla. I think I'll try to make next time because this little thing is just plastic and I feel bad about it and I don't like it. A half cup oil. Again, recipe calls for olive oil. 2 tablespoons applesauce, and then a tablespoon of vinegar. And then the egg. In addition to all the wet ingredients that the recipe calls for, I'm also gonna add just a teeny bit of molasses because the recipe calls for brown sugar. I only put in white sugar, and to make it taste brown sugary, I'm gonna add molasses, but I didn't wanna add molasses to the dry ingredients because then that'd be weird. The flax egg did not change nearly as much as I expected. Still looks very watery, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna add it, it's gonna happen. You ready for this? Oh man, me neither. Good. Okay, it's done. And now it's like a cake consistency or like a brownie consistency. Mmm. Ooh. All right, I think it's time to put in pans. As I was getting ready for this recipe yesterday, I realized we don't have 7-inch round baking dishes. Pans, tins, whatever they're called. We didn't have them, but I also thought we didn't have an electric mixer, and it turns out that there is one in the baking drawer that I found this morning. So I walked down to the secondhand shops and bought one for $5, which how lucky is that? But still not the point. Bought one for $5 for nothing because we actually owned one. Yeah, so maybe we actually do have baking tins. So if and when my roommates are watching this, they're like, no, we have an entire drawer full of them. I will not be surprised because I can't find things. Long story short, I did not buy new ones. These were borrowed from my roommate Janelle's dad, which brings me to a really important part of this. I think a lot of times it can look like zero waste is just all bulk shopping, and if you don't have a bulk store, then like you can't live zero waste. But really, zero waste is so much more than that. It's just a way of living and looking at consuming materials in general. So for example, those pans, I asked around and I borrowed some instead of buying new because I'm using the resources that are already around me. And that shift in how you look at what you consume is what zero waste is. It is not all pretty bulk jars in a pantry and unpackaged everything. All right, I need to grease those baking tins with some coconut oil and then split my batter into the 2 tins and shove it in the oven for like 30 minutes, and then I need to go get ready for my day. The recipe called for me to put parchment paper down in the baking tins, but I don't want to use parchment paper, so I just greased them and then added a little bit of gluten-free flour, and I'm hoping that that will work. Also, there's the frosting. How good does that look? See you guys in 30 minutes. You ever just think you're doing so well and then you realize you forgot an ingredient and the cake is already in the oven? Cakes are out of the oven, even though I forgot the white vinegar. I think they look okay. Oh my gosh, they actually came out of the pans perfectly. Who needs parchment paper? It's actually starting to look like a cake. I'm now dressed, and so is the cake. Also, I put on glasses. This is a weird day. So I'm just gonna show you what the cake looks like. It's finished. What? Guys, I made a cake. I did it. I iced it, I did it. I'm going to end this video here. The cake is done. It is like 11, which means that in half an hour I need to be on my way to work. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to know what recipe I used, check the description box below because I will leave the link to it because I did not create this. This was, well, I created that, but I didn't create the recipe. All right, bye guys. Hooray! 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 It's good? Okay, good. Yeah? You like it, Nick?
Would you like a little? Very much.
Jesse, what did you just ask?
So I just said that this cake is so terrible that I need to like eat it so it can no longer be in the world. So I'll take another piece.
Sam's the best YouTuber I've ever seen, and I love it. And I watch it all the time and I like it, and sometimes I comment on it and say how cool roommates are, and that's me.